Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of color commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by the hosts of the Killer Cuts podcast. Welcome to the show, Astrid Pizarro and Bobby Munson.
Hello, thank you for having us.
My pleasure. This week we're here to celebrate the 25th anniversary of a classic 2000s comedy / horror movie in the form of Scary Movie. Before we dive into that, do you want to give a little rundown on what the Killer Cuts podcast is and why I felt you guys fit so well because of that show?
Sounds good. Did you want to take the lead, Astrid, or?
I mean, I guess I'll do some of it.
Okay, go for it.
Well, to give a little background to it, Bobby and I usually don't get really to work together on anything, and then we realized that we had a love for horror movies. So he came up with the idea of us reviewing and discussing horror movies in general somehow, and that's how Killer Cuts really came about. And what we try to do is at least try to discuss the movies that are coming out that are recent, just to get the discussion when it's like what we like to call it, like a hot topic at the moment. But we also like to go back and review the movies that we didn't get to review on our local establishment beforehand as well. So we like to dive in on, let's say we were talking about Scream before the other Scream movies really were coming out, and we have different movies here and there of movies that come out just to promote them as well, and to be able to bring that discussion about horror movies to the forefront.
Yeah, and I think it's a perfect fit in the sense that we tend to lean on the slasher side of things, and of course, Scary Movie, especially the original Scary Movie, its basis was with the '90s horror slasher genre that became so popular at the time.
Yep. Yeah, and that's basically why I thought you guys would be a great fit, because I wasn't sure if it would be a movie that you would cover on Killer Cuts, but it fits sort of in that theme. So got you on here to chat about Scary Movie. What is your each other's history with the Scary Movie franchise? Sort of, Bobby, when did you discover the movie and all of that?
So being a massive fan of Scream, I already knew the backstory that Scream was originally supposed to be called Scary Movie, or Kevin Williamson had written it with the intent of it be called Scary Movie. So being a fan of also comedy, in particular the Wayans brothers at the time, I heard that they were taking the helm of doing a comedy spoof type movie, and I love those type of movies. Having grown up with stuff like The Naked Gun and Airplane, all the stuff that Leslie Nielsen used to be part of, I thought, fantastic. This should be a lot of fun. And I knew the type of humor that the Wayans had brought to the table in the 90s. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a great fit. And so when I saw the first advertisement for it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go see it. I ended up going opening day to see Scary Movie when it hit theaters. And at the time, because we had a theater here that once it hit that particular theater, I think movies were like $2 if you went during the day or on a Tuesday. I ended up convincing most people I know to go to the movie. So I've ended up going in theaters probably 6 or 7 times, bought the DVD copy of it when it came out. I stuck with the franchise through to, I think it was 4. I think I tried 5, and I think 5 I was just like, no, I can't anymore. Anxiously awaiting 6 though. Now that the Wayans brothers are back, I'm very excited.
Honestly, I knew I remember from this particular movie a couple of scenes here and there, especially like the ending and like let's say the one when they spoofed the Scream 2 scene in the bathroom, and that kind of opener there too. So I remember some particular scenes. So I have moments that I was like, I wanted to rewatch it to refresh my mind because it had been a long while after I seen it. So I'm glad I watched it a little bit earlier to this. I can just think about like how this, like so many years later since I have seen it. But I can't recall when I watched it or how I started watching it. I just know that my family and I'm not a particular comedy person myself, but I go out with my family and we do go watch comedy movies together. And I remember watching this one because we knew it was a spoof of Scream mostly, knowing that we, like our family watches Scream and we have enjoyed it in the past before too. I know for a while we kind of started falling off as the movies kept going, but I've always said once with the casting rumors and everything of Scary Movie 6, I'm particularly excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm in a similar vein. I remember I started watching it. It must have been in like just before I started high school, and watching it like sleepovers and stuff. It's like probably too early to be watching Scary Movie, but it was fun time. And yeah, I'm similar for 6. I think like they slowly got worse and worse as they went on because like obviously the original people weren't there, and it was just it started to feel like it was just this is an annual franchise that we have to do and a bit of a cash grab. But I'm excited that they've taken a break and are now coming back in with some of the incredible horror films we've got over the last 3-4 years. I think there's some awesome source material there to then parody in a new scary movie.
Well, especially with the latest news that it's very much rumored that Melissa Barrera is going to be part of Scary Movie 6. So I think there's just a world of funny you can do with having Melissa join the cast of Scary Movie 6.
Yeah, having an actual Scream cast member in the movie makes it even better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Astrid, you mentioned sort of going back and rewatching it. How did you feel about rewatching it? Did it still sort of make you laugh, and did it hit the same way?
Yeah, I have moments that I kept thinking, oh, I remember this particular part, and I like the fact that because I'm a Scream fan, I'm able to like in my mind picture the Scream scene as this is happening at the same time. So the fact that we was like, oh, this is a little bit different, or this they decided to go the same thing, or they changed the characters on this one compared to the Scream one, but it still made me laugh, and that's when I remember certain parts, and I was like, okay, I remember this part, but I do remember how it went to this part, and little moments like that too. And the fact that I like the fact that this is being the first one. They make fun of the Kevin like Williamson movies in general because it's not only Scream, but I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of mashed up together in this one particularly. But it entertained me while I was working because I kept listening to it and I was like, I know what scene they're on right now because of this is happening. But it was really fun to watch it. Even now, just thinking, I remember that part, and I don't know why I do, but I still do. And it was incredible to think about the fact that so many years later, I still have those scenes in my mind, and just listening to them maybe go back to it in my mind.
Bobby, have you had a chance to rewatch it? Did it sort of hit the same way for you as well?
Now that I got my kitty here to join me. Yes, actually, it wasn't that long. It was before you asked us to be on here. I decided to watch it because it popped up, I think, on Netflix or something like that. And I was like, you know what? It has been a long time. And they had it started talking about Scary Movie 6. I had just watched a interview with one of the... I feel bad about this. I think it was Marlon Wayans that he did an interview talking about the first 2 movies, how successful they were, and how they came to the studio with the third one or something like that, and the studio essentially stole their idea because they didn't want to pay them what they thought they were worth at the time. And I was like, wow, that's the studio really got taught a lesson by not rehiring the Wayans brothers, that's for sure, because the decline was definitely there. And I watched that and I think, okay, I got to go back and watch this. And I watch it and I'm like, I still love it. It's goofy, it's silly. The jokes are still there that land for me because, I mean, they land if you're a horror movie fan. Even some of the basic stuff, like the Ghostface character standing outside the window while the main character, I can't remember her name now, but Anna Faris plays her.
Indy?
Yes. So she looks out. Yeah. So she looks out the window and sees him standing there, and then she turns her head for that split second, and the camera pans back to him, and he does that goofy little run behind the tree to hide or whatever. Like, we're so used to that scene in most horror films where the killer all of a sudden disappears at a glance. And I thought it was funny that they kind of could take a little bit of a dig at subtle little things like that. But I also like the fact that they kind of made some jokes throughout there that really landed quite well. And then including that double twist at the end, like have the reveal of the supposed killers not be the actual reveal in the end. The fact that they actually were able to do one more twist in a comedy movie of all things, I thought was very clever on their part. And yeah, it still landed with me. It's a great rewatch.
Yeah, that scene that you talk about when she's looking out the window at the school, I did read that was the actual ghost-faced costume from
really?
the original Scream movies. It wasn't for the rest of the movie. It's like a knockoff version, but for that particular scene, they used the original costume, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. That is really cool. Yeah, I like that touch to it.
In terms of like some of the jokes, like there are the parody moments, I think, still resonate and hit really well. Some of the sort of clearly 2000s era jokes are a little bit dated and aged. Like there's a lot of fart jokes, particularly like women fart jokes. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, we're definitely in the 2000s here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with any comedy, that's the thing is comedies are a tough one to not have age and stuff like that because it goes with the time. It's what's funny now, what we
Mhm.
don't understand might be insensitive as well too at times. And this movie is no different. It's got some things in there that you could sit there and say might be a little insensitive as well too, and they clearly are. But I don't think that these guys went so overboard with it that it doesn't. It's not one where you watch and you go, "Man, I'm cringing for 75% and laughing at the other
Mhm.
25." I'd say the cringy moments might be more on the 25 or even lesser scale, and the jokes otherwise still
Mhm.
land quite well.
Yeah, I think they're fun. Like there's the gay jokes. Like I think they're subtle enough where they are still funny. They're not like downplaying and like talking down to the LGBT
Mhm.
community. They are kind of highlighting that. Like that character is one of the funniest with his sort of closeted homosexuality coming out, and like none of his friends like even pick up on it. They're just like, oh, that's how he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, and like Astrid was saying about the scene from Scream 2 when they're at the theaters and he goes into the bathroom, and instead of getting the knife in the air, of course he's listening in for something else completely and stuff like that. Don't want to necessarily repeat it here, but even that scene in general, not that scene, but the one at the theater, that one still makes me laugh a lot, especially nowadays, because if you go to a theater nowadays, people are
Yeah.
worse than they ever were before. Like,
Mhm.
I bet you that exact scene would happen back then, if not earlier, if you were talking throughout a
Mhm.
movie, taking phone calls like they did. And I thought it was a great homage to the way the Scream 2 movie opens up and having her die and then go, or getting stabbed to death and going up to the top of the
Mhm.
stage and everything, and doing the big elongated death scene like they do in Scream 2. I thought that part of it was extremely funny and well done. And the fact that they keep jumping out with stabbing her and mentioning other movies that she's already ruined in the process and stuff like too. And this is for Big Mama's house, or and they throw it at her. It's just a beautiful touch.
Yeah. Have you had any bad experiences in the theaters in recent times? I've had a few.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, people on cell phones, people, yeah, texting, talking. There's people like, I go to a movie, this was about a year ago, and there's this kid sat beside me who wanted to be on his cell phone the entire time. His dad brought him to the movie. He didn't really want to go to it. He just had nothing better to do. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if I was that kid's dad, I'd be like, stay home then, you ungrateful slime, because movie tickets aren't cheap. Like we're talking like $15 to $20 a ticket, and they're just, yeah, that's okay. Just pay for a ticket so the kid can sit on his phone the entire time. Like, I don't know.
And ruin
Yeah,
everyone else's experience in the process.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like I just like put it down. It's a movie. Put it down. Put it away. Turn it off like they ask you to do. If you whisper to the person beside you a couple times to ask a question, fine. Don't give me color commentary during the entire movie while I'm there. Like I would like to listen. I'd appreciate listening.
Mhm.
I paid my money. I want to hear the movie.
As I say, for me, it was different in the aspect of, especially nowadays that we get the assigned seating at the movie theater. And then I remember to one that I went to, I don't know how it happened, but I remember my family and I, we like to be in the top row. And all of a sudden somebody was coming in, they were fighting about the seat. I don't know if the people were in the wrong seat on purpose and they just changed seats, or this person was mistaken that we're supposed to be sitting at, and there was a whole fight. And I just looked around and I went, I just want to go hide at this point because I'm embarrassed and it wasn't even me. But I was also scared because it got like really heated over seats. It was like out of anything,
Yeah.
it was because of seated assignments. And I was like, how is that possible? We have assigned seating. This is not an open seating any way, shape, or form. We don't do that anymore. We just, it made me think about that too. It's like how we had changed. It's like, oh no, we had to get there early to get the good seats. And now we don't even have to do that
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah, that was crazy. You'd have to get there like 20 minutes before the movie started, so you didn't end up
Well, again,
sitting
I'm not
in the
sure.
second row on the right, far left or something.
Like, I'm not sure how long you've been going to the movies for, Jana. Like, I'm assuming I'm the oldest one in the room right now, but I still remember having to line up in advance to buy tickets, like weeks before movies came out. So that, like, there's people who camped out to get movie tickets for opening nights. Like, you were lucky if you got tickets to a movie in the first few weeks of it showing, kind of thing. And like, I remember those days. And then you had that ticket, and that's like, you're in, but you're not even guaranteed to sit with your group. There's so many times we grow with like a group of 6 or 7, and you get there a little bit late, and you're like, oh, it's single seating only. So now all of you are spread throughout the theater. Someone gets stuck with a front row seat, so your neck's breaking as you're looking up at the screen, and you're all over the place. It was a wild time.
Yeah, and for me, like I go to a lot of the preview screenings, thankfully through work, and even then, like it's supposed to be all like press and influencers and stuff, and the influencers they can really be quite off-putting. They'll be like, they have to film their little selfie part and all of the stuff on the like title screen. I'm like, come on, guys! Like every time we come in here, there's a big like a screensaver type thing of like, welcome to the premiere of this in Sydney. Here's all the hashtags and everything. Like, just take a photo on that. We don't need to do it for the actual title screen. That'll do.
Yeah. No, people they just need to calm down a little bit when it comes to the theater. Enjoy it. Go. If you need to be on your cell phone the whole time, why not just get it home? Like, digital's so available these days. Like, stay at home. Like, clearly you're not a theater person, so.
And so quickly too. I think is it Megan 2 is out digitally
Tomorrow
now, like
or something. Yeah,
less
today
than
or
3
tomorrow.
weeks after the movie came out.
That's sad. That's sad.
That was a fun movie.
It was.
Attention, trading card collectors! Are you ready to take your collection to the next level? Dive into the action with the limited edition Australian wrestling card, showcasing the most electrifying talents Australia has to offer. Imagine owning cards featuring legends such as Robbie Eagles, Shazza McKenzie, Shane Hayes, Madison Eagles, and many, many more. But that's not all. You'll also snag cards of the iconic referees, commentators, and announcers, just like me, Lord Andy Coyne, to truly capture the spirit of Australian independent wrestling. And as our homegrown talent continues to dominate the world stage, Ozres cards are destined to become hot commodities. Not only will you be owning a valuable piece of wrestling history, but you'll also be supporting the amazing wrestlers and talented photographers behind the magic. So don't wait! Grab your Australian wrestling cards now at pariomagazine.com.au/Ozres cards. Order today and kickstart your collection with a bang!
One of the other big parodies that this original Scary Movie does is I Know What You Did Last Summer, which we're about to get a reboot of. What did you think of the I Know What You Did Last Summer parody elements in this movie?
See, as soon as you said it, I can't help but laugh because of the initial part where the one character gets the picture in the locker room that says "I know" on it, and it's so unexpected. I won't repeat it, but it's so unexpected that I just bust a gut laughing at the same time. It's funny. I think even you had to do the scene with the "What are you waiting for?" I mean, you can't get away with doing "I Know What You Did Last Summer" parody without that. And I love the fact that it's just so inadvertently there's the guy on the edge of the school threatening to jump or whatever, and they just come out and start talking, and I'm like, "What are you waiting for, huh?" And he goes, "What am I waiting for? Fuck you," or whatever. It goes down like.
The one I didn't remember, and that's why the rewatch really helped, is the fact that I noticed, I don't remember if it's the whole movie, but in some particular scenes, Ghostface has the hook on him. Instead of just being like two separate people, it's like they kind of mix them up together. So he has that hook from the I Know What You Did Last Time. It's like, I didn't notice that before. I don't know why. I guess I don't know if it wasn't because I hadn't really watched I Know What You Did Last Time in quite a while either, so I didn't think about that aspect of it. But thinking that part of it, and even just the car scene at the beginning too, how like it just made me laugh so much when the guy's like, I'm okay, and then just like don't even listen to it. It's like, we gotta call the cops, we don't know what we're gonna do. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm okay, and then he's like, oh no, we gotta get rid of the alcohol, and the bottle's the one that actually like knocks him out. And then while they're putting his body in the trunk, and then he starts waking up, and then the trunk closing is what hits him again. I was like, poor guy, he went through it that whole night. It wasn't the car, it was the bottle of all things.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm just going to go now. And as he walks off, that's when they do him in, which is pretty funny.
They're going to throw him in the river, and they toss the bottle of liquor back and hit him in the head and knock him out again. And then covering it when Shorty and the boys roll around or whatever, and they come up there and they have a conversation with him too. Like, Shorty honestly is one of my favorite characters in the entire movie. I think he's so funny. I love him.
Yep. I wonder if they try and bring him back for 6, just as like a fun cameo or something, or they have a similar character for it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they all wind up back in there at some point in time. Like we've seen that they don't worry about it's almost like a joke to not have continuity between the scary movies. Like even with and I can't remember the character's name, but she appears in all of them, but dies in every single one of them at the same time, but returns back with no explanation at all. So I feel like the characters returning don't necessarily need an explanation whatsoever. They're just gonna show up and do their thing. And the fact that they're bringing the Ghostface character back is intriguing as well too. Like, do they go as far as the return of Doofy as a character in here or anything along those lines? Where is the extent of who they're going to bring back from the original?
And yeah, I wonder if like we've seen in a lot of movies recently, like the concept of like a multiverse as well. So they could easily do that to bring some of these characters back and just be like, oh, they're in a different universe.
I mean, that would be funny too.
But there's so many more that they can hit up this time around. Like in the late 90s, it was great. You had, I know What You Did Last Summer, you had Scream were really the two big notorious ones. You had Urban Legends, but I think that fell just before, and there wasn't a lot to play on there that I think that they borrowed from. So I think this time around, I mean, we're not only looking at, I Know What You Did Last Summer returning and Scream returning, but then we've had such great slasher films lately, like Heart Eyes, for example. I'm sure there's going to be something played on with something like Heart Eyes, Terrifier. You can't tell me they're not going to have some sort of Art the Clown joke in this version of Scary Movie.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah, I would be shocked if there's not some sort of creepy clown in there.
And Final Destination's made a return too, so it got to be something they could play on with that as well. I mean, the three of us chatted about that on Killer Cuts. I'm sure that parody's coming along somewhere.
Yeah, I could see all of those. I could see surely they'll do some sort of Sinners thing with like some sort of vampire element. Barbarian probably will get a run in as well, because they'll have they'll probably have the creepy monster like trying to feed someone milk.
Okay. Our imaginations have taken us there already.
Yeah.
It does seem like the kind of joke that they would want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There's a lot of other pop culture references in this as well that aren't necessarily scary movies. We had the Dawson's Creek cameo, the Matrix, bullet time at the end, Titanic, Gilmore Girls,
the Budweiser was up thing.
Yep. Miss Congeniality, the Spice Girls, a very clear American Pie parody scene as well. What do you sort of think of those, and what pop culture elements do you think will be pulled in for Scary Movie 6?
In some ways, I think that like the problem is that that's where a movie tends to get dated, right? Because you go show Scary Movie nowadays to most people, the Budweiser joke's not going to land whatsoever because it dated quickly. Shortly after that movie is when those commercials started.
Even for me,
stopped. Yeah, like
being in America or North America, like Budweiser, we didn't get that ad. So the "What's Up" joke is a Scary Movie joke for me. It's not a Budweiser joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it ran like nonstop commercials here in North America all the time with the guys on the phone doing the "What's Up" thing, and that's where it came from and why they did it. And I find sometimes jokes like that, they're funny at the time and they're funny to that region, but they don't necessarily have longevity to them. I think there could be the odd thing that's played out in here. I don't know what it is exactly yet, but I don't know that it's needed. I think they've got more to draw from in terms of the horror movie elements that they don't necessarily have to lean so much on the pop culture elements with a new version of it. I could be wrong. And I mean, I'll leave that up to the genius of the Wayans brothers to decide. And we'll all decide when we go to see it and see if it lands in 2026, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like pop culture wise, that like things that have happened that stands out in a way that they could talk about aside from the political aspect. And I don't know if they want to like even cover that aspect of it really, because it's just, I don't want to call it controversial, but it's one of those things like it has people so divided that I don't know if you want to add that to that comedy aspect of it. But that's the only thing that really, really like stand out. And I don't even want to call it pop culture because it's more like, it feels like more like real life in that aspect of it. But I really can't think of anything aside from the horror movies that they could pinpoint in the movie in itself and include it in the plot line here.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like the big things that I would think maybe like a Taylor Swift reference just because she's so big.
Yeah.
Maybe a Kendrick Drake
Mhm.
feud.
Something to do with the streaming wars. Something along those lines.
Yep.
It's got to be implemented, I would imagine.
Potentially like a Diddy reference,
Mhm.
just because it's like kind of
They fight.
off color.
Ooh. I mean,
and yeah, they're sort of the main ones. I would be shocked if there's not a Taylor Swift reference, at least just because of maybe like a Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce type thing.
Mhm.
better yet, they should just get Taylor Swift to make a cameo.
Oh, now that would be huge. That would get the people watching it.
And now that I think about it, she could also be one of those people, because I forgot what movie she's in that she only lasts a few seconds and then she gets killed off. And I could see them kind of, even though I don't think it's a horror movie to be honest, but I could see them kind of making fun of her like that and like having her like being run off by a car or something like that. Be like, oh, she's done with, sort of thing. So kind of a scene like that I could see happening with them.
They could put her in the Carmen Electra spot to open the movie.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what they're going to spoof in that opening scene as well too. Like, are they going to go directly after one of the more recent Scream movies, or are they going to go a different direction entirely? So, because do you draw from 5 or do you draw from 6? Like, or is it a combination of both? It's hard to say what they're thinking right now.
Yeah, like there's just so many. Like I said, there's been so many awesome horror films of recent times. Like, there's so many options of which one do we want to spoof, which one do we want to have like as the through line that carries this whole movie forward. Where they go, like all of those, like the Freaky Friday type ones, and the Happy Death Day to Use and things like that. Of
yes,
I thought
so
about Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
depending on the time frame.
Well.
Depending on the time frame, they could do that one too.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And like you said, Terrifier. I wouldn't be shocked if Terrifier is like the through line.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's almost like Art the Clown versus Ghostface. They got to do something along those lines.
Yep. And the other thing I noticed on Rewatch 2 is I blurred a lot of Scary Movie 1 and Scary Movie 2 together in my mind.
Yeah.
Rewatching this, I was like, oh, that thing that I'm thinking of must be in Scary Movie 2. So now after rewatching it, I'm like, well, I guess I got to go and watch Scary Movie 2 at some point. Maybe all 5 to get ready for 6.
Well, I don't know if you have to see all of them. 1 and 2 are a good shout for sure. 3, see, the thing with 3 is that 3 still had the ideas that the Wayans were putting on the table that the studio stole from them. They just didn't execute them as well as the Wayans brothers would have. And then 4 was on their own, and that's the one that really failed miserably. And 5 felt like it was, again, like you said earlier, Jamie, it was forced onto people because they thought they needed to do this as an annual release kind of thing, until kind of these types of movies went by the wayside. Like, we haven't seen really strong movies like this, spoof movies, in quite some time. There was a whole slew of them in the early 2000s there that really failed miserably. And it wasn't until more recently that you're seeing Seth MacFarlane's doing a requel to the Naked Gun series. You've got the Scary Movie coming out too. Again, it's going to become this whole thing where it's like, if these are successful movies, we're going to see a whole ton of them kind of flooding the market once again.
Yeah, I don't think that would surprise me either, because I it's something that we've noticed also with the horror movie genre lately. With these movies, like we had the Scream movies and the Final Destination. Well, now with I Know What You Did Last Summer, and having such a huge gap between all these movies, and that nostalgic feeling of it has made them have huge box office hits to the point of like, there's another movie coming as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if it happened to this one too, just because not only do you get the comedy aspect of it, but it's a good mix between the people that like horror but also like comedy too. And it's like, who wouldn't want to be there and have their favorite horror movie made fun of somehow, or even like the moments that you thought of, like this is a horror movie, but at the same time, I think that made me laugh, and it happens too in horror movies that they have their particular moments that make you laugh. And it just makes me think, like, I feel like these movies could hit the spot right about now because there's nothing like it happening right now. And like we've been mentioning, it's like they have so many options. I feel like back then there wasn't that many, but then now there's so many to choose from. Like we don't even know what route they could pick aside from Scream in the base of it. So I think it's fun not only speculating, but fun in the aspects of like we don't know what route they will pick. And if they don't pick it for this one, if this is successful, they might pick it for the next one as well. So I feel like the good thing about the timing now is that they have a lot of resources and a lot of source material for these movies.
Yep. Oh, and I just thought Sydney Sweeney could also be in the Carmen Electra spot.
There you go.
Oh,
Those
that
are
would
Yeah.
sort
be
of two
nice.
people that I think would
Mhm.
fit so well in the just sort of
Yep.
the damsel in distress getting killed off or cameo opening.
I'm
Yeah,
curious
I
for
like
when they're
that one.
going to say who's on the cast. I really want to know who's going to be in this movie.
And I think, like you said, like if this is successful, I think for studios, these are such a surefire thing because you can make them quite cheaply. Like this first one was only $19 million, made them $278 million in the box office. So I think you could make a lot of these quite cheaply because if the kills and the CG and stuff is kind of cheap and goofy looking, it just adds to the movie. It's not like your Marvels where if the CG looks bad, it really distracts from it. If the CG and stuff looks bad in this, you go, yeah, that makes sense. It should look silly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It adds more to that element of it of we're making fun of these movies and what they use for these elements to make them scary movies to begin with.
And this also spun off into sort of the what was it, superhero movie and all of those other parodies. I'd be interested. I think superhero movie could even make a comeback now with the rise of the comic book and Marvel DC stuff being so big now. A spoof of those could be quite fun, especially with people sort of starting to get that superhero fatigue. Making fun of it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of options there. I think the problem is that everybody got fatigued on the spoof movies. So when superhero movie
Mhm.
hit, they were already starting to, and then you had disaster movie, and I think at the time, not another teen movie was successful, but it just kept going from there, and it was really kind of just like I don't think they got the core of what the Wayans were doing with doing a spoof movie. It was just kind of like, well, if we just put a bunch of scenes together that make fun of movies in the most ridiculous
Mhm.
way, people will laugh and pay money to see it. And I think people got fatigued on that. It was like, no, I'd rather just go see an original movie at this point instead of one that's making fun of all these movies. I think now is the best time for it. Like you said, there's been such an insurgence of like great material coming out and everything that people love that they haven't had a really good spoof movie in so long. I think a telling tale will be to see how well the Naked Gun does when it comes out, when that hits theaters. If that one can prove that there's a an audience to go and see these movies in theaters. Again, Scary Movie 6 might have an even better option like for an audience too, because it's a little bit more recent than the Naked Gun movies ever were, but I think that this is going to tell studios whether or not this genre still has life left in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like Astrid said, like these really do draw in those two different audiences. You're gonna have the people that have the nostalgia for the original Scary Movie,
Mhm.
the comedy fans, and then yeah, your classic horror fans that is like, I want to see it just because I know it's gonna have references to my favorite movies, and I want to see if I can pick them all up as it goes along.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's June next year, I believe, that they're saying it's coming out. And right now, the supposed posters that they put out so far say requels, reboots, and regrets is what the tagline seems to be that they're going for at the moment. And yeah, I'm
Well,
perfect. Like this is exactly like everything we've had lately is requels, reboots. Not saying that's a bad thing. I've liked most of them, so bring it on. Let's see what they could do with a requel of Scary Movie.
yeah, I have liked a lot of them. Halloween ones, not so much, but a lot of the others have been very fun.
The first Halloween one was good. It just went bad from there.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see what I Know What You Did Last Summer is like. I was that was filmed here in in Australia in Sydney, and I applied to be an extra and I didn't get it, which was very disappointing.
That's terrible. How could they?
I would have loved to just be a random person on the street watching someone get killed for that movie.
The dream.
I'll be honest. I was. If it wasn't for my work schedule, I was that close to being a cameo in the movie Deathgasm too, but because it filmed out in my neck of the woods. But of course, it was kind of all of a sudden we got the email about it, and it was like you have to be ready by Thursday, and I was out of town on sales calls that day. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so I guess I won't be taking my cameo role. I'll leave it up to the other people I know.
So then, as we close out, what would you give the original Scary Movie in terms of a rating out of 5?
For me, it's a little difficult in the sense of it. Like I said, I'm not necessarily like a comedy person. I know like horror is my like my genre, if anything. So for me, it's not a. I don't want to say perfect movie, but it's like one of those like I'm not gonna give it a 5 out of 5, for example. But I enjoyed it and it made me laugh and it was fun, so I'll just give it a 4 out of 5.
And I'm quite the opposite. I absolutely love this movie. I still love this movie, and it was a 5 out of 5 then, and it's a 5 out of 5 now from me. I will always hold this in the highest regards as one of the probably top 5 spoof movies I have ever watched.
Brilliant. I am on the opposite end. I gave this one a 3 because I remember 2 being even better. So I wanted to leave myself some room to go up because I still don't think 2 is a 5 out of 5, like perfect movie, but I think it's better than this one. So I went 3 for this one. I think 2 would be a 4. And then hopefully 6 is a 5 for me.
Yeah. See, for me, 2 would probably be a 4. First one was a 5 out of 5. But again, I think it was just that vast difference when I went to 2 and got into it. I was like, oh, they've gone a totally different direction in the second one, kind of thing that I wasn't prepared for at the time. I mean, having watched that one again recently as well, it's still, there's some really funny stuff there too. So it's, both of them are really good. I love both a lot. And as far as I'm concerned, if you can bring back that magic Wayans brothers, awesome. Because I could use a good chuckle.
Yep. Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at JamieUps Media and at Pario Magazine. Astrid and Bobby, where is the best place for people to follow you and support your podcast endeavors?
For me, most of my stuff is on my YouTube channel, which is like my name, Astrid Pizarro. So is my Twitter. My Instagram will be Astrid Pizarro 20. And you can mostly find us on our local establishment, which is OLE Podcast on most social media platforms, or our local establishment on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and much the same when it comes to OLE Podcast. That's where you're going to find most of my stuff. It's probably where you're going to find the easiest way to reach out to me on any of the socials as well too. But you could also look me up by my name, Bobby Munson. You'll find me on pretty much everything that is out there today, and feel free to follow along. We got a lot of great content coming up, including when we talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer. We're right around the corner from that review too.
Perfect. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.